Social infrastructure is recorded live on Twitch. Battle reports will be linked in the description so you can follow along.
All right, and we're live. First of all, welcome to the Social Infrastructure Podcast about the Galaxy Simulator known as EVE Online, brought to you by the State Fair Alliance, bringing you the 3 C's of EVE. Community, content, and killing. We'll be covering and updating you on the State Fair Alliance at the end of every episode. If you'd like to follow the podcast more, check us out on Discord at Social Infrastructure Podcast, right here live on Twitch or on YouTube. And I know I said this will happen last week, but it hasn't yet. So hopefully this next week I'll actually have us where you can find podcasts.
On this podcast, we talk to small and medium-sized alliances and corporations and their directors about how they got their start in EVE, where they currently are, what they're doing. Then, in future episodes, we like to check back in on them to get an update and see what's been going on. We also like to cover some EVE news and some kill mails. With us today is the illustrious Nem from Brotherhood of Spacers. I also have with me today my illustrious alliance leader, Rots Mineworker, and Kyle Titus, and I am the real Eilish.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm a little drunk, but
yeah,
we're gonna
Hey,
get
cheers to that, my man. Someone's got to do it.
Cheers.
It's Friday night. Let's do it up.
Oh yes,
Enjoy my
sure.
drinks.
Well, how about the first question, Nem? Why don't you give us a brief history on how you got started in EVE and how you became director of your organization?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, the first time I played EVE, I was like, I don't know, it was like 8th or 9th grade, just like me and my friends into sci-fi shit, playing EVE. I was like, all right, I'll give this game a shot. And like, I don't know, I wasn't even like 15, 16, and I started, like, it was like a low-sec, like, anti-pirate group in Placid. And, like, I was, FCing, like, these little small gangs as, like, a little pre-pubescent kid. Did that for a few years, high school, whatever. Didn't play during college, but got back into EVE and then, met up with the corp I'm in now, Star Frontiers. I joined Boss Alliance 1.0. Years ago. We lived in Fountain, Teenal, Paragon Falls. Kind of did the whole SOV entity thing, our own alliance, doing our thing. I wasn't really running Boss Alliance then like I am now. I was always in FC. Always involved, knowing the guys. Argus Sorn is our shadow leader who doesn't really play too much, but great guy, someone who I, get beers with. Symbiotic, Matthew MN, some really great guys kind of gave me the guidance. And then it just was a lot of heavy lifting for a few people when we were in Boss 1.0, owning SOV, dealing with kind of all the politics, things like that. So we decided to merge anyone who wanted to go back into Star Frontiers, and we rejoined Test Alliance. Star Frontiers had a long history in Test Alliance, so we joined them right during the start of the CO2 test conflict. Was with them through the end of the Fraternity War. I got to FC some awesome fleets, working with some really cool guys. Siku, one of my favorite FCs in the game. PGL, lost a lot of money with him at Craps in E-Vegas. Great guy. But for us, it was just like Star Frontiers always had an identity. And being in a big alliance like Tess, we kind of lost that. We were doing our own thing, but even when we were doing our own thing, it was just fuck. There's so many blues. We can't do the kind of hunting and kind of PvP that we like. And there was a division between a lot of our leadership. Some of us were well, we like Tess, we like what they're doing, fleets are fun, crabbing's good, but there was enough of us where it was just we're pulling the plug. So that's when me and Argus, Spongy Guy, a couple of them, our main core leadership dudes were just like, you know what, we're gonna leave Test. It was actually during Vegas 2 years ago. Our 2-year anniversary is this Sunday. So it was what, 2 Octobers ago. Argus told Dran. We told PGL. We're like, yeah, Star Frontiers is leaving. So we decided to reform Lost Alliance, but this time with the goal of not dealing with Sov bullshit, fucking politics.
Yeah.
Like, we just wanted to play the game. So we picked NPC space. And we wanted to pick a region that was like where we knew we could like make some ISK, but also have fun like everywhere. And Venal was the perfect place for that. Like, between the burner missions, which I don't know if you guys have ever run burner missions, it's the easiest ISK in the game. And just not having to worry about iHub timers and like politics here and there, and like, yeah, like you can burn down our structures, but at the end of the day, like, we have stations to live in, so like, good luck evicting us. Like, we're always gonna be here. So that was like the big reason why we reformed Boss and decided to live in NPC space.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Got some people talking up in chat telling you decloaked and stuff.
Yeah, you're decloaked. You're decloaked, man.
I'm not decloaked. I'm looking. I haven't been moboed.
No,
I'm keeping my eye out. I just docked up my Redeemer and my Nano Knit. All right.
That's a
No,
typical BJ.
Oh,
rebel
BJ's
comment there.
just lying.
No, it sounds-
fuck it. I'm like tabbing through my tunes. Like, all right. No,
So-
I'm close.
So that
I'm
sounds
good.
like you kind
I'm
of got
good.
like a sweet little setup there, though. You kind of get all the benefits of Null. You get lots of people to shoot at. Sounds like, you know, you still got that income with the burner missions. I heard they paid good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's the coolest thing about NPC nullsec is just like, I mean, we the joke we say is we roleplay as Garista role players. So that's like kind of the joke we have amongst our boss members. One of our members has probably one of the best dread alt names. It's Garista Gunner 1. So, you know, I wish all of our dread alts were named Garista Gunner. But yeah, I mean, Venal's like a great place to live in. Just having access to 5 or 6 different regions. Blops range is amazing. Stations close to Jita. I mean, like, it's the perfect place for a group who just doesn't give a shit about Sov to live in. You know, it's sometimes uncomfortable for people to like leave that like null block Sov safety thing, and like, I'm like, yeah, like, it's nomadic. Like, you're gonna have to gate 6 jumps, you know, sometimes to like go do something, or like you're gonna have to run DED sites, or like go here to mine an R64 that we have, like whatever the case might be. But like, at the end of the day, it's been the most fun I've had in Eve, hands down. And I mean, I've been playing the game for a very long time.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. You kind of got a, you know, interesting setup that not a lot of people, you know, are doing out there, and it's cool to see it that it's viable and you're out there giving it a shot and making it work.
And it's working, right? That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, I mean, Sunday marks our 2-year anniversary of living in Venal.
Happy birthday.
And
Yeah.
Frats formed, you know, a 600-man super fleet and has killed a couple of our Fortizars. But like, you know, at the end of the day, like, we'll just anchor more. Like, it's just like, or we'll just live in a station. Like, I mean, there's no evicting of us. Like, we're always gonna be there, and we're always gonna do what we want to do, which like is why I play the game. Like, I don't have to want to worry about like, oh shit, we're getting evicted, we have to move. Like, oh, what's happening next? Like, we've done that before as an alliance, you know, and we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been following you guys for a long bit. Like, good friend in your guys' group, BJ Rebel, awesome guy, and I just
Don't
have to
inflate his
say,
ego too much, all right?
man, I've sucked him off enough, and you know, what's a little more, you know? But the endurance you guys have, because I formed up for some of your timers and stuff like that, and just like the amount of people you're fighting and stuff like that, you guys still make it work. You guys still have that content, and not a lot of groups are capable of doing that. And for that, I applaud you guys, and I get sent all these kill mails and stuff, and be like, oh, look at this or look at that, and it's just like, damn, I kind of. It's amazing. What you guys do is amazing. And for the people who aren't aware of what Boss does, like, what is the content you guys do? Because you're not just mission runners. You're not just living in Garissa space just to run those missions. Like, what do you guys do?
I mean, at the end of the day, like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
To run 2 missions at the same time.
No, I'm always running I run level 3 missions in my golem on one tune and just PvP on the other. No, I'm just kidding. At the end of the day, man, like the dudes that I've known in Star Frontiers are like people that I've met like at Vegas, like hung out with, and like have been a part of my life for like years. And like we're building like I think like a really like great community of just people that like logging in, killing some shit, and then like going about their day. Like we first and foremost are a PvP alliance. Like like there's dudes who like indie, they build shit, they mine, whatever, but like at the end of the day, we are here to just shoot other people, and like that's why we play the game. And for us, like I don't know, like I ping and people show up to my fleets. Like, they know a lot of the times we might die. A lot of the times we might have an epic fight. And, like, it's just been awesome to see just, like, the support that, I don't know, my friends, like, literally my friends have had, like, in this community. Like, and just seeing us grow and, like, more and more people seeing, like, the boss community that we built is, like, such a cool thing for me to see, and something that like I'm super proud to like be a part of. And like at this point, I guess leading, like it was never my intention to like start leading Boss Alliance, but it just sort of happened because like I put in the same amount of investment and effort that like my friends before me put in. So like this is why I'm here, and like why we're still kicking, because we like roaming, we like blob stuff, we like ESS fleets, and we'll throw down with the biggest group there is. Like we don't care, and a lot of the times we'll lose, and sometimes we'll win and have a great fight, and like that's why we play the game.
Yeah, and later on we'll get into some kill mills and show, but yeah, you guys definitely can seem to hold your own with Frat.
I mean, I think that type of mentality alone kind of sets you apart from like a lot of the groups, because if you look around in Eve, like the only fights people are willing to take are the ones that they're sure that they're going to win, and that's that.
I don't think I've taken a fight like that in 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, but because of it, you guys fucking you guys get some crazy kill mails. It gets sent my way, and I'm just like, shit. Like they done it again. They got like 9 men on a fort. They got this many billion for no reason.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So I mean, you're telling us about all the highest of highs and everything, but to kind of let people know that you do have your ups and downs. What's an obstacle that you had to overcome in your organization?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest obstacle was we moved into Venal, and like there were the OG Russian dudes like out of sight. My Little Ponies Corporation. They actually just joined Vapor. Nink, very good friend of mine. Those guys. I mean, from the beginning, like when we moved into Venal, we were like. It was like kind of like respect, bro. Like we know you're here. Like, well, we're not gonna fuck with your risk making, and like you're not gonna fuck with our risk making. But like if we see you out on the battlefield, we'll fight. But eventually, just because of the geopolitical landscape of the North, we decided to blue each other. It's one of our 2 blues that we have in Boss Alliance, and it was just like, all right, this is a group we're going to work with. Like, the venal Russians, I mean, they've never left and they're never going to leave. So we kind of respected that because that's the mentality that we want to have. Like, you're never going to evict us from venal. Like, what are you going to do? Like, shoot the station, camp the station all day? Like, yeah, right.
Something about those Russian NPC nullsec groups that once
Stain, right?
there,
like those are
leave.
the other guys. Yeah, like mad respect to them.
That's funny. I didn't know that they had a group out like that up in venal. This goes to show you.
The same thing in Pureblind, the banner logs.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about the Russians, but NPC space, you're not unrooting. You're not going to do anything to them to make them leave. They're just going to stay there forever.
And they're patient, and they're going to wait you out.
Oh yeah, they are.
I mean,
that old gypsy band thing too. Like I can think of a million groups that used to live in NPC null back in the day.
But there's only a few that are still here, right? And like, I think that's the important thing to note. But the biggest struggle was when, we took over every fucking moon we could in venal. We're like, dude, these are some of the best R64s, like, whatever, R32s and, like, our pocket by our Fortisar. We're like, yeah, like, let's promote some ISK making, and, like, mining in venal was, like, pretty easy. Like, even Rourke mining, the only time we lost a Rourke was I got AWOXed by someone, and I think one other dude died because he was mining in frat prime time. But, like, again, it was just like, free ISK. We saw an opportunity, dollar signs. The Alliance was like, oh, tax money. So we took probably 25-ish moons in venal. And then we started blopsing a lot against frat. We deployed to Geminate. We were camping Sino beacons, like doing all sorts of harassment. And I think they got kind of fed up with what we were doing. And I can get into this, but we have a NAP, like a non-aggression pack with Fraternity, which is like a whole nother story, which I can get into.
Yeah.
But basically, they decided we're going to show up and kill all of Boss's Athenors. And they spent probably 2 months, 3 months, RFing timers. And, like, our timers are set to be EU/US mix. Like, our timers are set for 00 Eve time. Like, I'll tell that to anyone, whatever. You can scan them. And, like, at the time, like, Volta was helping us. Like, Seto used to be in my corp, so, like, Dread Bomb has, like, a lot of my really good friends. They'd come help us. Val and Dock Workers, great guy. Like, they'd come help us. Like, the Boss Alliance, we've always been bros with people. Like, that's just who we are. And we're just here to fight. So, like, there'd be timers where, like, fuck it, who cares? Like, it's an R32 moon. Like, let them form 150 people and kill it. It doesn't matter to us. And that, like, happened a lot. And the amount of CTAs that frat formed, or strat ops, whatever they want to call it to make them feel better about themselves, like, it was just funny. And, like, yeah, we lost, like, look at the war report. You can link it here in the chat, or I can. We probably lost, like, 15 of our Athenors. But, like, the amount of effort that they put in to do that, and their whole goal, like, I get their pings. We have spies in their leadership. It's just like, it was all for, like, oh, we're gonna hit them where it hurts. Like, we're gonna break them. We're gonna, and it was just like, no, like, you guys had to CTA and get 70, 80 people for every fight, and if you didn't, then we would form and win the timer. And every time they didn't get, that, like, 70, 80 number, we would form and win the timer. So, like, it was more effort on their part than it was ours. And, like, it was a struggle. It was a bit, like, demoralizing for a little while, just being like, we max formed, like, 60 people. And, like, for Boss Alliance, that's a big form for us, right?
Yeah.
Like, 50, 60 people in a fleet. We're all in Ravens. We're all ready to fight. But then Frat not only pings their English speakers, but they ping on QQ their Chinese speakers. So then they have 2 fleets, right? 100 people in both. and it's just like, well, at this point, like we can't do anything. So I mean, at that point, we we're just like, take our moons, whatever. And funny enough, like a lot of those moons, they've unanchored the Athenors, and we've stolen the Athenors back. I think we stole 6 Athenors that they put down of moons that they killed. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like they did it to flex because they have ISK and people, whatever. But like that was at one point like a low point for us, just being like, well, shit, like we can't do anything against this.
I mean, on that same point, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
You know,
I'm talking a lot.
You know, you're hitting it. I have nothing new. If I guess the question I got for you is, you know, what if any obstacles have you guys overcome in your organization? You know, this one picks into, you know, you were talking about that was a low point. You know, what are your growing pains in your organization, so to speak?
I mean, I think honestly that was one of the bigger low points of people just being like, what do you mean you can't defend our structures, right? Like, oh, I joined an alliance. Like, I thought our moons were safe. So that was honestly like a struggle, because there was people that like relied on moon mining to making their ISK. Like, which is a fair point of the game, right? Like, it's fucking on R64, you mine that for an hour, it's like a bill.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that was one of the biggest struggles that we faced. The other one is a story.
We like stories.
I mean, it just involved like, it was a guy who was in one of the corps that joined Boss, who I guess had it out for us from the get-go. And this actually ties into the whole why we had like a formal NAP agreement with Frat. He started, I don't know why he was this, I mean, people are weird, right? But he started editing pings that like me or Spongy or Med would send, and like twisting them to make us sound like an anti-Chinese, like bad sounding. I don't want to say racist. Like, that's what he was manipulating it to sound as.
Yeah.
And sending these manipulated pings to a diplomat or some lower level person in Frat, and like went up the line. And like, I've always had a relationship with Norris. Like when we were in Star Frontiers, like Star Frontiers as a corp killed Norris's first Titan, right? Like we've known Frat and Norris for a long time. Like, there was always a mutual level of respect between our corp and like Frat, like before the whole test Frat war. But like, you know, this one guy like had it out for us or whatever. I don't even fucking know. And he started sending these manipulated pings out to make us sound like some anti-Chinese like alliance. I don't even know. And like, that's what sparked like a lot of the conflict. And like, that really hurt me, because like, us as an alliance is like, we're like the chillest group of dudes you will ever hang out with. Like, we're the kind of people like you see us at a meetup, like, I mean, come to E-Vegas and come to our karaoke night. Like, here's the plug. Like, it is the most fun event ever. Like, that's not who we are. Like, we're not one of these like edgelordy type alliances or corps or whatever. Like, we are just a chill group. And like, that really upset me. And that like eventually made it up the line in Frat leadership, and they like saw these pings that weren't my words, but it was my name on it, and like, that really fucking sucked. Like, and that was a total low point for us.
Yeah, that's crazy. That, I mean, this is Eve. We've all heard those stories, but you know, when it happens to you, it's definitely something you're not, you know, expecting and ready for.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's kind of the, you know, your reputation definitely gets out in Eve, and that's kind of, you know, what you live and die by.
And I mean, the thing with us with Boss Alliance is like, our reputation, I think, has like let us survive as long as it did, right? Because I mean, like, I have a beer. Or Gobbins doesn't drink, but like whenever I see him at Vegas, like we'll chat, and like the other alliance leadership people, and I don't know. That's just who we are as a group. Like we're just
fuck
like
do you not drink as alliance leader of That is fine. That is,
Yeah, I'm
he's on something.
shit-faced
You know
right
he
now.
is.
Yeah, I don't know
He's
how
got
you
his
deal
whole
with that.
posse behind him. They all drink. But it's a game, man. And like at the end of the day, we're people. Like we're here to be friends and like have fun, and that's just the philosophy
right.
I have playing this.
That's my group to the T. I mean, I can log in and just have some fun, man.
So
exactly.
A lot of alliances that are.
I remember one of the form ups. I attended for your structures, and they were all named. Every single structure was named the same exact thing, and I fucking hated it. It was horrendous. So, like, Frat didn't know what to do.
At that fight, what group were you with?
I think I was with. Was that Hysteria, Rots?
That was Hysteria, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so I
You're
was in
sitting there
Hysteria,
being
Rots
the
was in
best.
Volta,
Yeah.
and then you guys were like relaying intel on like what Frat was on, and it didn't matter because they were all the same exact thing.
Well, they
like-
weren't exactly the same because you can't name structures exactly the same.
They were
Oh,
like
you mean
same
the
word.
barcode.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
barcode.
it was a barcode.
They,
It was
they
a
were
barcode,
barcoded.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
horrendous.
You just had to get your smartphone up and scan it, and you would have been fine. Then you would have known.
Excellent.
that's awesome.
Checks out.
All
I
those
mean, it worked.
barcodes, if you scanned, had a
worked.
name too. That was the funny part.
No, the funny thing is like that barcode tactic
Yeah.
worked so absolutely
we know.
well that
yeah.
it worked against your
Uh-huh.
own blues. We were like, "What the fuck are they talking
well-
about? What structure are they at?"
We perfected it the second and third time we used it. But that first time we used it, oh man, I'm gonna give I think Spongy Guy and Medsus the credit for that. That's our brain. That's the brain trust of
That
Boss
seems
Alliance.
like a
So-
spongy guy.
So if
kind
I'm
of
understanding this right, so you drop 5 structures, I'm assuming at the exact same 10.
10.
At the
yes,
exact
10 of them.
same
10
9.
Rotarus
Yeah, at the
all
exact same
throughout
time.
IMK.
Mhm.
IMK was one of the last iHubs to be in Tosis by Frat during the Freemen of the North versus Fraternity War.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. So, yeah, so 10 structures, all the same name. Barcode's the only way you can tell the difference. And then there's just no way for them to organize and hit the
Yeah.
right one. And so how many of those 10 made it? Actually,
One.
anchored. 1?
One.
It was worth it.
Perfect,
They got the
that's all
one
you
down,
need.
Yeah.
and then it made
It
the
was-
next fight.
You want to know the funny thing? I think 5 or 6 of those Rotarus were just Frat ones we found in space.
Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Most of the structures we anchor are Frat structures we find in space.
It was
Yeah.
one of the best and funniest fights I've ever had in my entire Eve career. Like,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, they had like multiple fleets, right? They had
Yeah.
their Cat fleet.
They had
their
the Cat
Super
fleet
and
all
they had
over the
NSH
place.
in their fleet.
Once we broke them up, I mean, what it did is it broke them into smaller squads, and
Yeah,
they have
Ro was there.
not capable of running themselves in 25,
Mm-hmm.
30 man fleets. They'd throw a cap on something, we're killing it. They have no idea what barcode it's on. It worked great.
It
Yeah,
did work
that's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Would have been
yeah.
interesting to see if Pappy would have tried that maybe in 1DQ or something.
I mean,
That never succeeded. That was a tough one.
Oh yeah, that was it would have been funny to let us see it on bigger field. You guys get your name out there on that one. So
that was a funny fight.
what ended up happening? So what was the quick conclusion of the kind of standings with frats? Like I guess the real
Yeah,
world
so-
standings.
So Frat, like the reason they were very aggressive towards us was because of this. I guess I'll say a dissenter amongst our ranks, right? This guy who is like manipulating these pings and sending like twisted words, and like I finally got to talk to the guy who was getting the pings from this dude, and I was sending him the pings that I actually sent. Like Spongy and I sent him like literally all the pings that we sent in the last like month, being like, dude, this is not who we are. And the guy was like, oh. And that's why like Norris and Ghazi, they stopped talking to me at that point. And like like Ghazi was like a friend, like he like would Discord call me sometimes, like in frat, and like Norris and I, we go way back, and finally that was settled, right? They killed, well, one of the BRs we have to talk about, but eventually they brought in 600 dudes and killed our fort. Okay, whatever, revenge, cool. But after that, we just started to go total just guerrilla warfare. We're like, you guys can kill all of our structures. We don't care. It's the pandemic. We're all working from home. I'm up every morning at 8 a.m. All your iHubs come out at my time. We're just going to entosis everything. And like, we almost won a couple of iHub timers in branch, like with just like 10 dudes versus like 100 of them.
That's
And
awesome.
Entosis is like, I hate soft warfare, but like Entosis is easy. Like it's not hard to like figure out how to do and win. It's when these null blocks just roll up with 100-man like hack fleet and think they're just gonna win timers. Like that's not how Entosis works in this game anymore. Mm-hmm. And they think that's how they can win it. Like I've won multiple Entosis timers against 100-man hack fleet because that's not what you bring to win Entosis timer.
What was your ship of choice when you're doing those like kind of 10-man Entosis fleets against those numbers?
Hecates and Griffins.
Yes, sir.
Damn right.
Yeah, we one of my close friends.
I mean, no brainer.
Yeah. One of my close friends in out of the blue. He runs Hecates, and we just eat toasters up all day. They can't make any progress, and then we're just.
I mean, our
just
contract lives on that Hecate right now.
Yeah, yes, it does. It works so effectively. It's so quick, and just the way we Cole runs it. It's just in and out, just like the toaster's done. Like their main fleet's like trying to chase it. It's just
can't use squat. You walk in, strike me down. I'll just get another one, bitch.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But I mean that's what was happening. So it got to the point where like finally frat leadership realized like the shit they were hearing about us wasn't true, right? And we were just being annoying as fuck, right? We were killing jump bridges in Tenal of theirs and toasting Sovereign Branch. Like they don't have to travel across 2 regions to deal with that shit, right? Like that's annoying. So we came to an agreement, and it was they will let our large structures live, right? Astra houses, Fortis ours. We left Athenors up for fair game because we want content, right? That's who we are. We want content. Come shoot our Athenors. At the time, Norris did say to me over voice comms, don't worry, we won't CTA for them. We don't give a fuck about your venal Athenors. Fast forward 3-5 months, they were CTAing and getting 200 people, but, whatever.
Lived through it once, lived through it again.
Yeah, but, like, Frat's not mining these moons. Like, literally, all we gotta do is just mine the moons, and their structures are still there. We can still mine it. Like, nothing's stopping us from doing anything.
Let them pay the fuel bill. Yeah.
Yeah, like, credit Nink in Vapor now. He's in Vapor now.
Yeah.
He has this battle proc, that, like, remote rep kind of thing. Like, he literally mines every frat R64 in mining barges that are set to tank the gunner. Yeah.
He is one dirty son of a bitch.
Oh,
That's
I know.
awesome.
Yeah, he was telling us about it, and I'm just he's just like, oh yeah, they're paying for the fuel, they're paying for everything. We're just mining the moons.
It's funny because like
That's
the
awesome.
normal player in our alliance, they're like they don't, Nick goes the extra step, and they're like, what? You do what? It's like, yeah, dude.
It's the shitting on your doorstep and watching you open the door kind of
we
approach.
do the same thing. We've ninja mines CA, Calderis Alliance, Frat, Winter Copets, the Japanese alliance that lives in Branch and Tenal. Same thing. I mean, we'll mine their R64s if they pop in Venal, like, yeah.
Are they not even like coming out to mine these at all? They just kind of pop and just let them...
No, but they do, but they do it at like, what, are you guys East Coast? I mean, they do it at like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. our time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, they plan it so they know. And they always put eyes on our staging. And like, we had one dude in our corp who would just undock all like 15 of his tunes and bombers. And like, just, and then he would know that like the mining fleets would end because he did that.
Yes, he
Just harassing them passively.
Yeah, because they're the most risk-averse group I've ever met.
Oh,
in a
yeah.
fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys,
TA,
what are we doing
yeah.
right now? We're
Me
just
plus,
talking.
come at me. No, I have zero respect for that alliance.
All right.
Oh, so what are the, we talk about the community we have, we talk about the friends you've made. What are the type of players you guys are looking for and you're wanting to join you guys, and how do they get a hold of you? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I'm looking for people who log in and say, hey, can I bring a caracal? No, I'm just kidding. Those
You guys can join my alliance. Yeah.
yeah, join Vapor. No. I mean, we are looking for, I mean, honestly, just like, I look past sometimes the SP and the whatever. I get the person. Like as a group, we are like a pretty like tight-knit community. And like, we're not edgelords. We're not like talking like about a lot of political bullshit. Like, I don't know, we're just like good people. We watch out for each other. Like, I don't know, like a year ago, like my cat got really sick and I did a GoFundMe and like I got over $1,000 from like my Boss Alliance bros.
That's
right,
awesome.
to help pay for
That sounds
the
very
medical bills and
similar.
everything, right? Like,
So what has happened to Mr. Rots? To
Oh,
Mr.
my
Rots.
cat? Oh, Peter's been... yeah, I mean, the guys, they put up a... Save Peter's Peter. He had a he had a kidney stone. They threw up like $1,600. I had did,
Yeah.
like 3 surgeries over the course of a month. Didn't have the money for it, and they were like, "You'd have to put him down, otherwise." And I wouldn't have a cat if it wasn't for EVE Online in my community.
Dude, I mean, same here, dude. Honestly, like my cow is diagnosed with FIP, like 100%.
That's what I got. Yep.
Fatal disease, but there's medicine you can order from overseas. It works. It's just fucking expensive. And like, yeah, like I had boss dudes like literally within an hour, $1,500, like just from people that I haven't really even met in real life. A lot of them I have, but like that's the community that we built, right? And like, yeah, I just want people that just like want to participate. PvP, hang out on comms, right? Like most of EVE is just hang out on comms and someone being like, "Oh shit, there's something to kill over here," right? Like,
Oh hell! I caught a hell, guys.
That's like most of EVE, right? It's not like, yeah, there's ping warriors, but like, most of the good kills in EVE is just like you're just gating somewhere, like, "Oh shit, I'm passing by this,"
Yeah, just spontaneous.
Like, yeah, and like that's why I encourage just hang out on comms. Like, if a corp wants to join, I'm like, hey, just so you know, Boss Alliance doesn't have corp channels, right? Like, you are joining our mumble and you are part of us. So the expectation is you're hanging out with all of us. Like, yeah, like you can meet yourself, you can go to a separate channel, like talk to your friends. Like, I'm not gonna dictate that, but like I am gonna dictate like one group hanging out in a corp channel all the time, just them by themselves, right? Like, that's not who we are.
Awesome. So what are you guys' what are your future plans? Where are you going? Staying where you're at? Got
We're
some
taking
big
over the
targets
world.
ahead?
Pinky in the Brain or Dr. Evil, we got all sorts of plans. No. Yeah, man, I mean, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, and we are growing strong. We had a couple really awesome EUTZ corps just join us. Dark Vanguard, actually one of their guys used to be a frat FC. Really good EUTZ dude. We have a couple other groups who have been recruiting really heavily in EUTZ, Aurora Empire. I I mean, they used to be the dudes that would always gate camp you and kill you in Curse. And we just got Marshy just joined Boss Alliance, which was a big pickup for us. Obviously one of the premier Blops dudes in the game, like
Absolutely.
hands down. Despite Cloaky camping being nerfed, which is, I can't tell you what a stupid decision the mobile Cyno inhibitor or the mobile observatory was. Because honestly, Cloaky camping was the one thing, like the one fucking thing a smaller entity had against the block. Like that was the only thing, right?
Yeah.
The one thing. I'll get heated talking. We don't need to discuss it. But like, again, we still have him. I mean, he's putting spies all over. So make sure you recruit him. And yeah, I mean, we're just gonna keep growing, keep doing our thing. I mean, we killed 3 super carriers last week. After a little bit of a hiatus of not killing supers, which is kind of unlike Boss. We always like to, what we call the bread. You got a gamer, you gotta get that gamer bread. If you've ever seen our pings, it's the dough is rising. Join fleet. We might have some bread to get. But yeah, I mean that's our thing. Like we're here to get good kills, have fun, and keep growing, and take fights against frat like we've been doing the last couple weeks. Like these aren't even our structures that they're hitting. But I'm yeah, I have 60, 70 ravens that I built. Yeah, let's fucking use them. Let's get some fights. And we won a time on another, lost tonight. I'm here to fight, and it's just group people who just want to have fun and play the game and lose ships. Yeah.
Yeah, the game would definitely be a better place if there was a few more people out there that were a little less risk diverse. Yeah, willing to take a fight. It's even odds, let alone when they outnumber someone.
No, gotta be 4-1. That's the only way to play this game.
It's kind of, I'm seeing a weird trend with these people we've had on here where they seem to have a good crew. Everyone enjoys themselves. They seem to be growing in numbers. It's really weird, and that's kind of another thing too. Is I think some people, they probably know that they're in a shitty corporation or a shitty group, but they, for some reason, I've been in the groups. I'm like, hey, why don't you leave? I'm leaving. I'm not afraid to jump ship, but they just, for some reason, they just stick with these terrible groups. I mean, try something else. If it was a good group, then they'll welcome you back if you want to go back to them. That's why I tell my guys, that if you're director of the organization, you don't own these people, and if I've had people, join my group and then their director comes like, oh, you stole this guy. It's like, you don't own him.
Right.
If he would have, if you would have been giving him good content, he would stay with you. It's a game, we play it because it's fun.
I mean, it's the same with us and Tess. We have such a good relationship with a lot of their leadership that, we left them once. Before I was with Star Frontiers, they were part of Tess. They left, formed Boss 1.0. We were Boss 1.0 for 2 years or so. Folded, joined Test again. It's just hard feelings. You're playing the game. This is. But I mean, we have zero intention as a group to join any sort of SOV holding entity or any sort of null block. We will join in and fight against null blocks because at the end of the day, I personally think the game is better when there are more independent groups out there that can be empowered, right?
Yeah.
Not even successful, but empowered, right? There's a difference. And you can be unsuccessful and have fun, right? But that's why I'm empowering other groups to kind of break the chain. You don't need to be a crabber Ishtar ratting in a fucking null block to have fun at this game.
Exactly.
Right? that is what I'm a huge advocate for. Like, there is a lot more to this game, and like I think Boss Alliance really opens the door for people to see that like fun community. You can get kills, like you can make ISK, and you can hang out, right? Like that's all you want in a game, in this simulator that we play in.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's awesome.
I think my favorite thing is, whenever I'm curious to what Boss is up to, I just look over at my at the channel I share with BJ, and I just see an ad. It's just like, oh, the real Eilish. Look at what I killed. Look at what we got. It's just like hell, fucking super carrier, this or that.
I get them from them all the time.
It's amazing.
I always send him the kill. Yeah, I get happy. I gotta send him the kill mail.
Like you did.
It's amazing. Just the man, I'll say it again. Just like the endurance and like the willingness to stay in a place where you guys don't like hold Sov, but like Venal is your guys' Sov.
Yeah.
In a way, and like for out of the blue,
we role play as Garista role players.
Yeah,
so,
you guys are basically are. You basically are
our history books and talk about the rabbit, the Warren.
you guys are the Garista pirates. To be honest, if we're gonna be honest with one another, you guys are the Garista pirates.
Dude, you know how many haulers I've killed just by pointing them and letting the Garista rats shoot them?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have plus standings, right? All I need to do, I just point the hauler, and the rats just do the rest.
Rots went off and caught us, was it a freighter yesterday? He caught us...
Yeah, I jumped through a gate going the wrong direction, and scouting, and found 2 Sharons landing on gate. And,
where at?
Oh, wow. It was
SO?
It was in Vale, and it was that NTAC H pocket that Boom used to own, the northern pocket that they had, and caught him on a gate in there. It's like, what are you doing? Got at
funny.
least one of them. There were 2 of them, and I was having to bounce scram between them. And I was like, shit, I can't hold it. I got to pick one. So
that's awesome.
That brings me. I have to, before we end tonight, I have to tell you.
Well, we're gonna bring up some kill mills next.
Okay. Yeah, no, I want to talk about the Nyx that we killed. The first super of last week. It's funny. It's a great story.
I think everything's a great story.
Do you got that? You got that kill mill for me? I can bring it up.
Yeah. Where do you want me to link it?
You link it right in our Discord.
All right, I'm gonna put it in the next guest episode. There you go.
Okay.
I think what I really enjoy too. I'm solo roaming in frat space. BJ hits me up. BJ hits me up. Hey, you're on frat intel. They're forming to come get you. I'm like, oh, thanks, BJ.
One side note: we have a guy in Boss Alliance who killed enough MTUs that paid for our Fortizar loss. So
they get so pissed. They get so mad.
Yeah.
They get so mad when you kill their MTUs. That's when I get like all the hate mails and stuff like that. Like, oh, what was the mail like?
Tim Allard. I gotta give him some credit, man.
I got a mail the other day. What did it say? You are just a bitch, just like your country.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I'm sorry I hurt you that way, but at the same time,
this bitch.
Yeah. Did you see the kill mail I sent?
Yeah, we got it up on screen right now.
All right, cool. All right, so this Nyx, this fucking guy. So, he is, I guess, part of fraternity's elite blops group, whatever you want to call it. So, I always have eyes set up in G9D, which is the regional gate between Venal and Tribute. The main entry point, if Frat would ever to enter Venal, would be through there. So I'm just chilling. It's like a weekend night. I think I actually have off the next day from work. So I was just like, I was feeling good about that night, like to begin with. And then my guys will tell you, I'm like, we're going to have a good night. So I see like a couple marshals. I think it's like 4 or 5 marshals, Panther, Redeemer, 2 Nids, 2 Nyxes, and a Hell. all like gate into Venal. I'm like, okay, like what are they doing? And like everyone knows this Blops group hunter. Like he's one of the worst hunters in the game. He loses 2 bill enforcers like all the fucking time. It's the Maria something. Yeah. So I see him like gate. I'm like, oh. So I'm just like pinging, guys, get your dreads ready. Like, let's go. Like, blah blah blah. I'm like literally frantically pinging because I know like these guys are gonna do something stupid. Like, why are they gating into Venal? Like, I have no idea what they were doing with a mix of a Blops and supercarrier fleet. Like, it makes no sense at all. Like, no one's been able to figure out. Like hopefully they're listening. They can tell me what they thought their fucking plan was, because I literally cannot figure it out. So, like, I tell my one guy, like, Med, get in a battleship, start gating. Like, just start gating towards them. Like, they're hunters coming your way. They're gonna, like, drop on you. Like, these guys are just looking for whatever the fuck they can drop on. Because, like, that's what they do in Vale. Like, we have a radar set up. I see every single Blops kill, capital kill, supercarrier kill they get in Vale. Like, I have a radar set up. Like, it's easy. So I'm like, these guys are just desperate for kills. So he's like gating his Balgorn over there. Like, we have sabers cloaked up in like every system, you know, they could go to. And like, I live in Venal. I know jump ranges. I'm like, from where they are, the only system they can jump to is this system, Juru, where we killed this carrier, or where we killed this Nyx. So I tell my bait to sit in Juru. We have multiple sabers cloaked up in system, and for whatever reason, the Frat FC decides to mid that whole fleet into Juru. I don't know if they were going for our bait. I don't know if they were just midding because they thought they could. But they literally midded into the system, one jump from my staging system where we had cloak sabers. So they mid. I'm like, guys, they're midding. And my dude who has the saber and system, like, warp to the fucking Sino, bubble it. So at that point, like, we probably had like 8 dictors ready to go. So like, we send everybody, and like, I was ready to drop dreads right away on like the 3 supers we had tackled, but like, it was kind of early US time zone. We didn't have like a full force. So it's just like, well, we only have like 6-7 dreads. I'm like, those supers could eat us up. So I'm like, all right, let's get a subcap fleet over first, keep holding tackle. So we send like some sacks over, and like, unfortunately 2 of the supers got out. But we hick pointed this Nyx and held them down and dropped dreads, and Frat pinged. Supers tackled, you know, all guys to Jones Fleet, or xXNemXx, one of their FCs, all, you know. And they tried to get support in time, but in and out, dreads got in,
Yeah, that's a
killed the
clean
super,
kill.
dreads got out, and then the best moment of it all, Frat ping. Thank you all. 2 lived. Thank you for coming.
Oh, that's rough. That's awesome. You guys are doing these hit and run.
We've been having to deal with those frat CTAs in Esoteria on our contract, and if it's not like an overwhelming form, they will not undock.
Oh, of course. Well, luckily for you, they can't bat phone, you know, 3 other PanFan groups in the area.
Yeah.
They've
All right, well,
actually
let's look at another.
They've actually
Go
been
ahead.
getting fire in on some of the ops. It's been
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Don't worry,
where those blues trickle.
Fulcrum is a good dude. I
Yeah.
talk to
Alright,
Fulcrum on a
dude.
regular
Fulcrum,
Big fan of him. Big
Fulcrum is just.
Yeah.
I've heard all this stuff about him, like
Yeah.
just everything he does. He is just one of the most genuinely nice people
basis. He is.
in Eve, and it like he had his wedding yesterday, and he was like sending pics to Rots and stuff like that
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
of his wife.
No, he is 100% one of the more genuine people I've met in this game, and yeah, I told him like back in the day, like years ago, like AOM sometimes would bring like a Kiki fleet to some venal timers and stuff, but like they don't do that anymore. But yeah, no, they're a good group. I've always liked Fulcrum.
He's a really good dude. I mean, huge shout out to him. Congratulations on getting married, my man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's been great. I mean, he hired us. He was like, I support small groups. We got U.S. time zone content down here. Come on over.
I mean,
great.
honestly, anytime one of us Eve nerds can lock one down, it's a victory for us all.
Exactly.
I'm right. No, he was telling me, he's like, oh, I feel like I'm locked down. I'm like, man, when I got married, it was worth it. Totally worth it. You got this, man.
Yeah, mine's gonna bring me a beer right now, so this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't trained my cat to do that yet, so.
Yeah.
I got another kill bill up here. This one's
because he
ZD4.
hasn't heard it from his 30 dads about raising money.
So this one's up on the screen right now. Looks like this is ZD4 TAC G8.
Yeah, this was this week. I mean, that was just a fight where, like, for the longest time, we weren't fielding Ravens, because, like, Ravens are our main structure defense doctrine. If anyone's listening, okay. Just look at Z-Kill.
Yeah, I think they figured it out now.
Ravens are, like, the premier structure defense doctrine, right? Like, if you're doing other shit, you're dumb at this game. Ravens are the best structure defense doctrine there is, right? Like, they have unlimited range.
So you didn't boost Ravens, I take it, and stuff? Or how's
no, they're not boost Ravens. They're max
Ravens?
tank. Max tank. 4 XL, or 4 shield extenders, 3 hardeners, or 3 hardeners, whatever it is. It's max tank. Just,
okay.
Yeah. No boosting, no nothing. You sit there and you face tank like a fucking boss. you bring in your facts, you bring in your bazzies, and you just sit there. You have your FC and your golem with your dual paints that are bonused, and you get perfect application for every ship in the game. And you just volley them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's simple. And I don't know why other groups don't do shit like this, but I'm maybe saying too much. But yeah, you just fucking sit there and you just volley shit. Like, you 2-shot any target. Any target, 2-shot. With 2 paints, 2 golem paints, with at least 25 ravens, you will volley anything battle cruiser or down.
Huh.
Anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're just sitting there and like, they don't know what to do. So we're just killing them. They warp in, their Ferox is warped in. We have a hick bubble up because, like, boosters are going to hurt us. Because, like, I'm not bringing in a fax because I know Frat has 10 dreads in fucking Venal ready to drop on me. So I'm not bringing a fax. But, like, they can bring a fax. And you know what? I'm still going to volley their shit. Because a fax isn't going to save them. Like... And the facts that they brought in during that fight warped off because he was scared that they were going to lose the fight. And they did. That's why they bat phoned 4 other fucking alliances for the timer tonight.
Yeah, and then
so that explains that BR.
Looking at another one here, kind of looks like the same thing. Looks like they brought out some Macarials this time. You guys are way outnumbered, but still held the field.
Is that tonight?
Just a little bit. Just a little
50 to 55?
Yeah, you guys lost a few on this one, but still. I mean,
yeah, I mean, we killed their first fax right away.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. And then they had to bring in their 3 other alliances to help them. Because after that fax died, look at the BR, the timer, at how many DNIs died. Like, we were one-shotting Drake Navy issues. And then they brought in a second fax, and guess what? We were still one-shotting Drake Navy issues. And that's why they had to bring in all this other support, because like they just don't know how to deal with like a group that has a half decent comp without outnumbering you fucking 250 to 50.
Yeah, that's just crazy how much the numbers they have for this fight.
Like, learn
Just
how to
keeps
play the
going
game. Like as an alliance,
they had a Gila fleet with that too.
they had a Gila fleet, a Mac fleet, a Serb fleet, and their
Yeah.
DNI fleet versus just my Raven fleet. And we almost came out as positive. You throw out the structure that isn't even mine, it was a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, that's
You
great.
hate to see it, man. That's the stuff I'm talking about. I mean, that's why we made the alliance we did, because I
Yeah.
didn't want to be the other alliance on this battle report on their side.
Yeah.
It's just
Like-
it's unbelievable. Just go play the game, have some fun. All of those alliances could have just the same fights on the same playing field and enjoy it. I just don't see what content there is. The fact they're coming out to you means there's no content that they're able to achieve other than that.
You know that.
hmm
Yeah. I mean, dock workers joined our Raven fleet. You can see our BR, right? Like 20 dock workers dudes came, but that's because they have the same like sort of philosophy as boss. They're just like, yeah, we're here to fucking fight. Like, let's just play the game. And yeah, I was giving them free ships. I mean, why wouldn't you come to my fleets? I'm giving you free Ravens. You know, come on.
And the
Um,
company of you, well, why wouldn't anyone come?
Yeah, I mean, Val was there. Val is one of the best FCs that I've ever flown with. Like I've joined his fleets. Like one time we were all in Serbs, and I was like, dude, we'll just merge into your fleet. And like we kicked Frat's ass one night, you know. And I like Val is a fantastic FC, but like, you know, he returned the favor that night. He's like, yeah, we'll just merge into you. Like, it'll be fun. Well, you want free ships, but yeah, you know, and it worked out, right? Like, we had a good night, fun fight. Like, if it wasn't for them bat phoning 3 other groups, like, yeah, it would have ended very differently.
I mean, the the battle report that Levi has up right now. You guys were once again heavily outnumbered,
Mhm.
and Frat lost 30 bill to
Your
to-
guys is 9.
to your guys' 9 bill, and that's just, you know, another testament of the endurance and just the player base that you guys have. It's the amount of work you guys are able to put in, and it's honestly
Hey, bro,
amazing.
I ping free Ravens. People show up, man. People want that is Boss Alliance doesn't do like SRP bullshit for like every fleet, but like what we do have is a nationalized Raven doctrine that like anyone can contribute to at any time. And yeah, I mean, we just made like fucking like, I don't know, 30 or 40 bill off of the 90% loot drop like this last 2 weeks. Like when all the supers that we killed last week and like other shit, that those mods, all that goes to the alliance so we can like support fun ass fleets that we do, or we can only do in Ravens, right? Like, we can't fight another big group if we're not in battleships, right? We don't even stand a chance. Like, we can't show up and like, I mean, Murray Rothbardo, inventor of the sacrilege doctrine, the sac hack doctrine is one of the best doctrines in the game, but you can't fight that against 60 DPS ships. But you can bring in some Ravens with 15 Bazzies and fight that, right? That's the difference.
Yeah, you guys put a hurting on some Onerosis in this one too.
If you want to, please, let me get one chance. This is now going back in time a little bit, but the GVZ fight that I think you're looking at.
Yep.
Right? Is that the
Yep,
Fortizar
that's it.
timer?
Yeah, it looks. Yep,
Okay.
it's a Fortizar.
If it's up on the screen, just humor me and let me talk about this fight for just a minute.
Have at her.
All right, I know I've talked a lot tonight, and I feel bad.
Well,
But-
you're the guest, man. Didn't bring you on here.
Yeah,
to
you're
listen to us.
supposed to talk.
Okay,
You're
good.
supposed
Well,
to talk.
I'm very good at that. I'm a teacher, so I can fill time.
Well, that explains everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, that fucking fight was during the heat of it was towards the end of the Freemen of the North versus Frat War, where we still had that Fortizar. That was our staging Fortizar at that time, GVC. And yes, it did die, right? It did die to a 500-man super capital fleet. But that fight, before it died, that was its armor timer or hull timer. Maybe in a hull timer. I don't remember. But hours before the timer, the true Sancha blessed us with an incursion in that system.
Oh.
And ever since then, every night before I go to bed, I pray to the true Sancha. The true Sancha nation blessed us with an incursion the night of our final timer of our Fortizar. So we knew at that very night Fraternity would be unable to bring their super capital fleet to the timer because they would have to gate it through 3 systems full of incursions. And we knew they were not going to do that. Like, come on. They also thought, oh, TFI, so we're going to... Yeah. So they brought their full TFI fleet with all their logi, all their support, to fight our mighty Ravens that stood. And I may have bat-phoned Hard Knocks when they were legitimate.
I think I brought Feroxes to this one too.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
I vaguely remember.
Yes, you did.
Rote fed his Ferox fleet before the fight even started. It was kind of embarrassing. No, I think you got in. You warped some dudes out, and you hoard at the end.
We definitely hoard. I remember hoarding.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, I was just like, they're not going to bring in caps. Like, guys, Hodreds, like faxes. Let's go. So, we undocked our Hodreds. We have our fax. And I mean, we just go to fucking town on those TFIs. I mean, they didn't stand a fucking chance against the Fortizar without super capital support. So that's my favorite venal BR because it's just so fitting that, like, the group who role plays as Garista role players got an incursion the night of, like, the biggest timer of our lives at the time, right? Like, I mean, it was just, like, such a fitting moment for our group that, like, it really worked out well.
Yeah, and it's just kind of interesting to see too when Fraternity can't bring the other capitals into the play and they're stuck with subcaps. What can happen? It shows you how they're using that as a crutch. And
I mean, without super capitals, they weren't going to kill our forts, but they did end up killing 2 of our Fortizars. Before our non-aggression pack was made.
Then you got a battle report here what's that battle report you linked to me?
Which one?
It's that second to last one in that Discord page there.
I'm looking.
Oh, it's when you lost the fort. Oh yeah, that's just showing that.
That was just to show you that we lost our fort to 600 people.
Oh yeah, yep. There's lots of Titans, got Nixes on there. That'll get the job done.
I think they were a little mad, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they didn't bring any of their stuff to M2 down in Delph.
Oh, don't worry. Just so any group out there, Hard Knocks has a 200-man dread bomb in Venal. Watch out.
Oh.
Are they going to use it?
It's for sale currently.
Oh, it's for sale? Rods, hit them up.
Yeah,
200-man dread bomb. You want it? It's for sale.
Tempting.
Awesome.
That's why Frap brought all those supers. There's just this fucking meme that we made up about Hard Knocks having a 200-man dread bomb in Venal. That's why they did that. It was all just a fucking smokescreen.
That's awesome.
They believed it. Maybe it's still there. Who knows? You gotta ask Hard Knocks. It could still be there.
Well, man, I really want to thank you for coming on here. I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah,
Definitely
man.
learned some stuff about you. It's bitching what you guys are doing up there.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. You
Anytime, man. Anytime
awesome.
you need someone to fill in time, I'm your guy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Damn you, man! Come on to the show, man. Come on.
Yeah, kind of building been getting great guests on here, and I hope we continue to do so. I know Rots and Eilish have been helping with that a lot.
Good. Rhodes is a good guy.
Yeah.
Roto.
You
Roto.
cover my face with battle reports. It's fine.
That's all right. Hey, I moved you. Yeah,
That's all right. I mean, you saw Nem's beard finally, so it's okay.
Yeah. That's an epic beard.
Ugh.
Well, I'll kind of just give a little quick recap. After listening to what Boss is doing up there, hear about our little piddly shit in my alliance, but continuing to grow. Someday maybe we'll be doing some badass stuff out in Nullsec, but
Hey, you know what? Our saying in Boss is recruiting. That's our saying.
Our saying in Boss.
Yeah. I think most organizations in the game are recruiting.
Yeah, but not like us, man. Not like us.
Well, we're kind of looking at picking up, newer guys, and we've got some veteran guys that've been returning and picking up, and we're.
Hey, I mean, more power to the groups that are fighting the power, right?
Yeah.
That's what this game is about at this point, right? Like we've seen these large entities like exert their will across the game, and it's fun, but I don't know. That's not why I play it, and I think there's a lot of people that agree with folks like us. So let's just keep fighting the good fight,
Yeah, and I know, in our group, we keep having, what's awesome. I mean, I guess it kind of, selling the deal, but keep having people that, telling how fun it's been to be with a group where people are actually hanging out and showing each other how to play the game instead of, some CEO or something like that just using it as a pawn to push themselves farther in the deal. Oh, that's some nice swag.
That's right. This was just for me and a couple of my buddies visit. I live in D.C. A lot of my friends visited it. We called it the Boss Capital Meetup.
That's
How fitting is that?
That's a good one. That's clever.
And I mean, come on, Boss Alliance. Represent.
That's awesome. I know. At some point, we're gonna have to make a little swag ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, Rote changes new alliances every 6 months. He can't get any swag.
Yeah,
so
it's about 4, but
yeah.
I feel like we're steady.
One of these is gonna stick. One's gonna stick.
Just buy a Boss Alliance swag, and it's always gonna stick.
That's awesome. Well, on that note, want to thank everyone for showing up, listening to the podcast, hanging out with us. Great guests on. Hopefully we'll get a few more. Going to keep rolling these episodes out every week as long as we got good guests coming on. I think we got some other ones, rolling up. Once again, appreciate all the support. Been getting way more views on Twitch than I thought we would be, and this is great. I think our last episode had 2,500 views. I mean, it's crazy for just some. I have really no idea what the hell I'm doing on here. So,
well, dude, honestly, thank you for doing stuff like this because you're bringing a voice to people that aren't always getting heard.
Yeah,
and that is the fucking point, right?
Exactly.
Dude,
yeah. These, I mean,
hats off.
Yeah. Everyone. Yeah.
Man.
All the big organizations, they have their own social media networks.
Yeah, propaganda centers.
Have the same people on there, and I'm not opposed to having some of those guys on here ourselves, to hear what they got to say. But I think there's a lot of interesting stories out there in EVE that make the game what it is that aren't getting heard. And that's what we're going to try to keep doing. And
this, man.
Maybe I think we're coming close. I'm thinking 1, maybe 2 more episodes might kind of have a episode where we kind of bring back past guests. And maybe have them talk about where they are now, see how their track's been continuing on. I know Rots and those guys, they've been kind of moving all around. Maybe sometime they're going to have a little update where you guys are going to stick. Yeah. Every 4 months. Perfect. Well, shit, if this podcast lasts that long, we'll be doing good.
Well, I better go out there and kill some more supers so I get invited back.
Yeah, you got to give us
some
more
good battle
content.
reports. And yeah, if you get them on there,
don't you worry, my friends. We'll get it done.
Well,
And
and I
buy
know,
your tickets at the door with the rabbits and ravens.
yeah,
Clearly.
and I know Eilish will have those
Hey,
battle
come to
reports.
the
we'll talk
Ravens
about
fleet.
too.
We have free Ravens. Come anytime. I'll ping you.
Hey,
Bet.
you heard it right there. If you want to go
Bet.
fly Ravens, Boston's the place to go.
Yeah.
Rots, any last
fly
word?
Ravens, shoot frat. Come to Boss.
More people need to shoot frat. That's one thing we can all agree on.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me. This was such a great time.
Oh,
Thanks
this was
for
awesome.
the invite.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thanks,
thank you
guys.
for
You all are fucking awesome.
I
Ro-
have the better beard.
Rots, you got a last word for us?
That was it.
All right, Eilish, how we doing over there, bud? How was that? How
Just-
you
just
hanging
a
in there
little-
from that drunk room?
Just a little drunk, but we're living. We're having a blast.
Friday
Awesome.
night, brother.
Friday
Friday
night.
night.
Yeah, it is.
All right, guys,
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
All
Thank
right,
you all
thanks
for
so
watching.
much.